Well, good morning, everyone. Morning. Good morning, our neighbors and friends. Thank you all for being here on this day of service where our state and local leaders, our friends and neighbors, elevate the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. Today, we work together to ensure equity and that everyone has equal access to food at all times. So thank you for that. We're honored to have our Lieutenant Governor-elect here. Thank you for coming out here and visiting our marketplace. You can come anytime you want.
I'll be back again,
all right.
I promise.
And thank you, Dr. Ball, for being here. We always love hanging out with you. He's our favorite. We also want to welcome our volunteers from the Chamber of Commerce and the Rotary to dedicate their time to us so frequently. We are so blessed to have so many volunteers that spend their time with CAC on the regular basis. The total number of hours that are given in volunteerism to CAC in a year is the equivalent of 9 full-time staff members. So it's huge. We could not run this high-functioning, dignity-based food bank without our volunteers. We also want to thank the MLK Commission for elevating this day every year. It's so important. Thank you for our friends and partners at our local sororities and fraternities. You are setting an example for all of us to follow. We also want to acknowledge that several Howard County high schools have been competing to donate food today. So the spirit of service is alive and well in the youth in Howard County, which we are happy about. We also want to thank our friends at the United Way who have organized days of service across this state and are recognizing the need to serve our community. So thank you to them as well. And we also want to thank our CAC staff who work long hours here at the food bank and in other parts of CAC to ensure that all Howard County citizens are given the opportunity to reach self-sufficiency. So I just want to thank our staff. So our food bank is critical for so many families here in Howard County. Since the beginning of the fiscal year on July 1, we've seen some concerning trends that I just want to share with you. There's been a 46% increase in the cost of eggs, and we are spending $2,000 more per month to buy eggs for our families. We've seen a 25% increase in households and individuals visiting the food bank. There's been 28% more 0 to 17-year-olds and 16% more 18 to 49-year-olds coming to the food bank. And we've also seen a 24% increase in first-time visitors. And lastly, this past very first week of January, we saw a record-breaking 97 households in one day. This is why your presence here and the recognition of the work we do every day means so very much to us. You exemplify the spirit Dr. King called us to heed. That spirit is not only present in our CAC staff and in each of you, it is also present in the families that we serve. Recently, one of our Head Start moms reached out to me to let me know that she secured employment with a large insurance provider, and she's applying for an employee grant that will benefit CAC. And this past Thursday, you know how Providence sort of works things out for you? This past Thursday, I was visiting our Dasher Green Head Start Center. During afternoon snack, I popped into one of the pre-K classrooms, and the pre-K assistant teacher was taking that moment of quiet when children were eating their fruit and muffins and they were silent. She took out a picture of Dr. King, and she began to tell them about his dream. And she said, with her hands like this, she said, Dr. King wanted us to be equal, to be kind to each other, and to love one another. So what she did there is that she is planting a seed, Miss Tiffany Cook, our pre-K assistant teacher. She planted a seed of service in 20 rising kindergartners that when they're grown like us will bloom into the generosity you have shown us today. So Dr. King said he had, quote, the audacity to believe that peoples everywhere can have 3 meals a day for their bodies, education, culture for their minds, and dignity, equality, and freedom for their spirits. I encourage all of us to have that same audacity and to plant those seeds of service wherever you go. Thank you for being here. We are so blessed to have so many friends, and going to pass to one of our dear friends right now. Thank you, Dr. Ball.
Thank you so much to Tracy, our friends at Community Action Council, of course, our Divine Nine, our Office of Human Rights and Equity, our Martin Luther King Jr. Commission, and everyone who helped make today a success. Here in Howard County, we're known to be an affluent county, a place where we're at the top of many lists, including happiest place to live, healthiest place to live, top-rated school system, safest place to live. However, it is because of all those things that it is even more incumbent upon us to ensure that not only do we not forget our neighbor, but we make sure that our neighbor can continue not to just survive, but to thrive. It is more incumbent upon us to ensure that no one in Howard County falls between the cracks. And although we're doing a fantastic job overall, it's incumbent upon us to do a fantastic job for all. And that's why I'm so honored, of course, to be your county executive, to ensure that we have the resources and the support and to partner with you on this day off to make it a day on. A day on for service, a day on for loving each other, a day on for making sure that everyone is seen and continue to live their best lives. And that's why it's an honor to be here with a dear friend, someone who I've known for years, who has been in the trenches. Many of us have been celebrating and so ecstatic with her rise to become our next lieutenant governor. That's an applause line, y'all. However, I've known Aruna Miller as a public servant, someone who is dedicated to each and every one of our lives and ensuring that no matter what your zip code, what your background is, you can become your best self. So here today with us, this day of service, is our next Lieutenant Governor, my dear friend, Aruna Miller.
Well, good evening, or good morning, everyone. Look at that. The days are getting ahead of me. County Executive, thank you so much for your wonderful remarks. I got to tell you, the first time that I really got to know him is when he ran for County Executive for the first time. Man, let me tell you, he had me at hello. I was like, okay, I'm on board. Whatever you need me to do, I will do. So thank you for your tremendous leadership here in Howard County and to the people of Howard County. We're looking forward to the next 4 years with you. And Tracy, thank you. Thank you for everything you're doing to be able to be running this food bank. What an important thing to do. That all of you are here today on MLK Day to be able to really get the spirit of what service is all about. I can tell you the first time service really hit me, I think I was about 10 years old or so. And there was a tragedy that happened in India where it was a cyclone and a lot of people had died. And at the time, my parents and I were living in St. Louis, Missouri. And I remember my dad telling me, he gave me a coffee can, empty coffee can, and he said, go and collect money for the people, you know, who are suffering as a result of this cyclone. And I looked at my dad and I was like, Dad, nobody's going to give us money, you know, if I just go and say, hey, this is what happened, can you give us money? He's like, trust me, the people have big hearts, they're compassionate, they'll do it. So, of course, my sister and I went with this empty coffee can to all the houses in our neighborhood, and you know what? My dad was right. Whether people were, you know, we were coming in right in the middle of football games, we were coming in right in the middle of while they were eating dinner, we were coming in right in the middle of while they were doing homework. Not one person turned us away. Here's these two little brown kids, right, in the Midwest coming to these homes. Not one person turned away. They went in, they reached in their pocket, gave as much money, whatever they had to us. And it was really an epiphany for me. I was like, he's absolutely right. This is what America is about. This is what people are about, with big, compassionate hearts. And that's why it's so great to be here. And I want to thank Community Action Council of Howard County for the tremendous work that they do here. And I know each and every one of you play a role into this as well. Look, too many people are suffering across the state of Maryland from food insecurity. My understanding is during COVID, there was over 2 million Marylanders that were reaching out to food banks looking for food because of the hunger that they were facing. This is unacceptable. We need to do better, and we are doing better thanks to the actions of the Community Action Council and every one of you. And we're going to continue to do better because Governor-elect Westmore and myself, we are going to be your partner in Annapolis. We are going to make sure that everyone in the state of Maryland deserves what they should have, from food to housing, to transportation, to mental health services. We will leave no one behind. And we want to thank you for coming out today, for giving the best of you to the state of Maryland. We are so proud of the state that we're going to build together, and particularly on this day as we recognize and honor Dr. Martin Luther King, who said, we will overcome, because the moral arc of the universe is long, but it always bends towards justice, right? And so for that, I want to say every one of you are working towards justice. Thank you. To Larry Walker, who's our good friend, thank you for your leadership here. I gotta tell you, this gentleman is an awesome guy. If all of you don't already know who he is, you should get to know who he is. I mean, talk about a big, compassionate heart. It's right there. So I also want to thank United Way, the local chambers, MLK Commission, Howard County Sheriff's Department, Divine Nine, the Rotary Club of Howard County, and of course, again, to every one of you. And we hope we see you on January 18th for the inauguration, right? It's going to be a great, great day, folks. It's a new chapter in Maryland's history. And you know what? You're going to write that new chapter. And you know who the heroes are going to be? Every one of you in that story. So thank you for having me here. Thank you for everything you're doing. Have a great day.